I'm CJ from GoDaddy. I'm here with Luiz Vasquez at the Freelancer Conference. And tell me what you're doing here this year.
I'm a guest speaker, and I teach introverted freelancers how to sell.
Introverted. That's amazing. I'm the exact opposite of that. ENFJ up in here. Oh, okay. So what brought you to doing this type of thing? Like, what was your journey to get to that point?
Well, when I started my freelance business, I was selling and operating my freelance business like I thought it should be done, which is very extroverted. But once I honed down and said, you know what, I'm going to do it in a way that feels natural to me, that's when I started to see real results.
So do you want to give some examples? Tell me what your business was or your story.
Sure. I ran an application development business, and I sold my first project for $150 and a Burger King sandwich. So times were tough, right? I sold my second project maybe for $1,000, third project back to $600. And then I said, okay, hold on just a second. I need to do this better. I sat down, mapped out, and said, okay, I'm going to start making decisions according to who I am, to who my ideal client is, and then this notion of selling in my own fashion. And an opportunity came, and once I started framing better questions and managing sales meetings in my own style, I was able to sell my fourth project for $40,000, which was like a huge jump, and it's just been happening since then. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. So.
That's amazing. So now, are you still doing that same business alongside helping freelancers to figure out how to do it for themselves? So
I recently quit that business. Secretly, I still do projects here and there, just the ones I really like. But now I'm doing this full time.
So this is excellent. So do you go to a lot of conferences, and how do you feel about this one specifically?
I do. This one actually was really good. I like the interaction. Normally when I do like guest speaking, there isn't a Q&A at the end, but this one they actually had really, really great questions, and so I really enjoyed that.
I was actually just going to ask you, what was one of the good questions, and how did you answer it?
Well, there was the first question was, can you show me your breakdancing moves? And so
I don't think we have room back here.
No. And so I did show him a little something, but another really good question would have been how should an extrovert know when they're overdoing it, which wasn't really a question for introverts, but my response was that I believe that in sales meetings, when you ask a question, if it's an important one, that the moment of silence is for you to just let that tension sit, because that's when people change. And when people are changing, they need that moment and that space. And so a lot of us introverts are overtalked by our extroverted brothers and sisters. But in sales meetings, it's even worse if you try to rush that moment of tension, because if you do, you might miss the sale. And I think that's when decisions are made, is in that moment of tension.
Maybe you should do a seminar for us extroverts. Sometimes it's hard as an extrovert too, and here I'm doing interviews, right? And so I ask a question and then I have to stop and listen. It's great training for an extrovert. So right. That's my extrovert tip for today. Be an interviewer and listen. So I think that's really cool that you're doing that, and that you can answer the questions from either perspective, because it looks like even though you are clearly an introvert because that's what you're doing, you've looked at it from both angles and worked it from both angles, right?
Sure, yeah. No, I have an uncle. He's very, very extroverted, polar opposite of me. But at one point, we were in the same business, and we would do the same types of sales meetings. And it's just crazy how different we would manage it. But that's something that he does have, is he knows when to be quiet and when to blab, or when to be humorous, or when to, and so he knows how to manage that and lead that conversation to that decision point. And so where he would make a statement, I would probably ask a question. And so it's just all about being yourself at the end of the day. So I always like to say, when in doubt, just be yourself.
That's a great tip. I love that. Also, do you find then throughout your day, or do you offer up a tip of anything like this nature where it's, as an introvert, if you need that time to step away, take that time? Because I know that where extroverts are fueled by the activity going around them, introverts get very drained and they need more time to refuel in quiet time. Do you let them, do you talk about that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So, To be honest, I didn't get here until kind of late, to be honest. So, but I mean, that's my MO. I will go to the places where I know I'm going to squeeze the most juice out of it. Depending on if I'm there to serve, obviously I'm going to be there to serve. But if I'm there to get, I need to be very choosy on where I'm going to get from, so that I don't spend my energy on places where I'm not getting a lot. So I believe I do. I think introverts would do the world a favor if they were able to pick and choose where they're most efficient, because what happens is then they get to be fully present, and so they get to be fully present with their extroverted brothers and sisters and introverts. But if you're drained, you're not doing anyone a service, especially yourself.
I totally agree. And when I get back to my hotel room and I'm by myself, I collapse like nothing. But when I'm surrounded by people, I'm going full tilt. So
yeah, my pregame is napping. Like some people drink before they got. No, I nap. That's my pregame.
I wouldn't mind a nap today. So, well, thank you. Is there anything that you can tell people, like if they want to get in touch with you or ask questions, where would they go to find you?
Yeah, you can visit mightyintrovert.com. And you can get all my contact information from there.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here.